We'll start, I think, with the more legitimate one. Question 1. Boss, do you see a time when MMA will be taught in public schools like every other legitimate sport? This from Roy Bernston, who is from Prince George, British Columbia.
I was in Prince George for the King of the Cage Canada. I was doing the commentating on that show. A couple of months ago, I went to the Beverly Hills High School. They asked me to go there and talk to the kids there because they have a mixed martial arts program. So that school has one. Then, a couple of months ago also, Hector Peña, a friend of mine, was fighting for a world title. And this guy in the hotel, I met this guy in the hotel, I believe it's Sacramento. He had a scholarship for mixed martial arts. It's the first state in America who did that. So it will be there right now, the parents, I believe, because they're going to say, okay, we sent you to school to get smarter. We don't send you to school to actually get dumber. If you get to hit too many punches to the face, you're going to develop a speech impediment, and that's not going to be so good. So I think once they realize that mixed martial arts is not that bad as head trauma, as boxing, I think it's going to be okay, but it's going to take time.
Justin McCullough, would you go there, and McCullough, would you go there and teach everybody?
Yes, I would, sir. I would be the dean, I would be the professor, whatever you want me to be. I think it's absolutely important. I mean, and other martial arts have been trying to get into school systems for hundreds of years. I mean, you had Chuck Norris with his kick drugs out of USA, you know, program and everything. But now that it combines wrestling and it combines a stand-up fight, and you can put it together and you can make $1 million doing it, I think it's a viable class in school. You should be able to educate yourself and have a chance at becoming a professional MMA fighter by going through school, just like you do football or soccer or baseball or anything.
Yeah, I'm really curious, especially, I know, Ed, you want to say something about the...
There's other schools, too. Yeah. I mean, there's a local school by my house, which actually a high school that I went to, Maricosta, they're in Manhattan Beach. They're offering an MMA class, too. And I think it's good. I mean, the kids are, kids now, they're not as into boxing. I mean, they grow up seeing, my kids, at least my kids, they know all the fighters. My 10-year-old daughter will sit down and talk to you about MMA, and you'll be like, she's a 10-year-old girl, but she knows, She told me one time right after Anderson won the belt, she came home, she said, you know what, Dad, what would be a good fight? I said, what? And she says, Anderson Silva and Chuck Liddell. And I said, why? And she said, because they're both stand-up fighters, so it's going to be a great fight.
Nice.
And I was like, for a 10-year-old kid,
Good parenting.
Yeah.
Ed, you hold that thought in case your daughter needs to work one of these fights with us. We might bring her in to be an analyst with us one day.
She would love it. She would love it.
Yeah, and I'll be curious too, boss, down the road, in some states, let's think like Iowa, Illinois, Oklahoma, big wrestling states, all that big area out there, the Big 10, Big 12 wrestling. If someday there'll be maybe a collegiate MMA team, that might be interesting.
It will be very interesting, but it's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
That's what I think.